Just
Sure.
be silent for a moment. Okay, and coming back to the present.
Okay.
So thank you all for joining in, whether you're joining in live or you're watching this as a replay. Know that all the energies associated with this class will be available to you and accessible on every layer level of your conscious and unconscious being. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And we're going to start first simply by let's just connect our energy and just get grounded. So I want you to just tap like this, just to help balance polarities inside your body, energetic balance. And it is my intention to serve you, each and every one of you, for your own highest good. And to connect to your soul and to your soul's purpose. Okay, so this is the class on healing family trauma. And the reason this came about is I've been guided to do this for a while now. Not just because I personally have had to deal with many family issues over the recent past in quite traumatic ways and quite traumatic stories, but because I see the lingering effects it's had on so many of the clients that I work with and so many of the people that I deal with on a daily basis. And a lot of the memories that we have from childhood, whether they're conscious memories or we can just see there's this niggling of trauma, anger, all those kind of things that happened from when we were younger. And it's not to me about going into some psychotherapy session where we have to talk about, how your mother treated you or what happened. It's the actual lingering fact of sibling rivalry and where your place is in the family, and a lot of those repressed feelings that we haven't actually dealt with that come back to play later in life. And this is an opportunity to help clear all of those issues for yourself. And by using a couple of different techniques today, we're going to be able to look at how you can help heal the trauma that's was affecting others that has also affected you. Because we're not independent, we're not alone in our family. It's not just your story. We're going to clear your story first, and using this special technique from the Court of Atonement, we're going to help connect to the souls of your siblings and other family members so that they, if they choose, can clear on the soul level as well. And that in itself is incredibly powerful. So we're going to work first really on just how can you get more clear and how can you help relieve some of that trauma from all the stuff that happens when we're growing up that may be completely insignificant at the time, or when you look at it as an adult, you say, well, that's not really that important. But the small child inside of ourselves can often hold anger and resentment for a long time that actually makes no sense. Yet on the soul level, it's still looking for resolution in some way, shape, or form. So that's what we're going to be dealing with today. We're also going to be using a little bit of the instant miracle technique, which well, we'll deal with that as we go to it. So I'm going to be using the techniques a bit intermittently, and just follow along as best you can. If at some point you feel the trauma is too extreme, just turn your call here on mute and send me a message here, and I will show you how to deal with that. The real question is just taking a moment, taking a breath, and relaxing into whatever that is. Because the goal here isn't to bring up all the trauma. The goal is to allow, on a soul level, to allow your soul to deal with the trauma on its own term, on its own time frame. And when we bring in the souls of our siblings or our family members or other people, it is the soul's choice of what to heal or not heal, or forgive or not forgive. And that is a huge aspect of why this technique is so powerful, because as many of you are probably familiar, it is never acceptable to just do a healing on someone who hasn't asked for healing. It is never acceptable to impose your thought of how somebody you believe wants to be healed. So when we bring in the cord of atonement, we're bringing in on a soul level, and then the soul itself can choose what activity they would like to engage in, what healing, forgiveness, acceptance, love, joy, whatever the soul level will choose. And so it is okay to bring them into that cord of atonement, and then that free will that the soul has will choose what it would like to do. And then we leave it at that. But you are allowed, of course, to bring in your own soul consciously and ask it to help resolve various timelines and to review and analyze timelines. So that's kind of how we're going to be going about this today. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Fantastic. So yeah, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to bring ourselves into the cord of atonement, and we're going to begin clearing ourselves. And the cord of atonement is a channeled intuition practice that was given to Amy Jo Ellis by Abraham, of the 1,000+ year Abraham, who has been her guide for a number of years. And his suggestion was that this is a very effective technique for humanity to heal anything that is happening in their current life. It's by bringing the soul into a cord of atonement on a universal level. And at that point, the timelines can be reviewed and analyzed, and the soul or souls will choose how to adapt and to address any problems, challenges, conflicts that have arisen in the past, and how best to resolve them. And the real issue seems to be not just that it is the free will of the soul to choose, but it is the free will of this cord of atonement to say, you need to see this from another perspective. You need to see this from the perspective of the other person, or you need to see this from how can that on a soul level grant forgiveness. And particularly, we're often going to look at granting forgiveness for ourselves. Things that we thought were actually someone else's fault. It's often ourselves who choose not to forgive someone for whatever happened. So learning how to forgive is a huge challenge for most humans. Even though we think we're forgiving, we may or may not actually be forgiving. And in particular, we may not actually be forgiving ourselves for holding that judgment. We know it never serves, it seems to never serve a higher purpose to retain that judgment or ill will towards someone, yet we do. And so we need to forgive ourselves for being yet human and be still able to connect to our highest selves and on a soul level. So that's the primary work that we'll be doing here with the Court of Atonement. So what we're going to do first is simply connect your energies with your name. And the way we do that is I want you to start with your, and you're going to say this silently. If you want, I would suggest putting yourself on mute here. I'm going to say my name, you'll hear me, and you're going to say your own full name at the date of birth. And then you're going to say your current name that you're using today, if it's shortened or longer, or has additional names second. So for example, I'm going to say I, Barbara Byrne Pasula, place myself, Barbara Longuet, into a full Court of Atonement. And so you can just repeat this after me. Okay, so I, and then state your birth name.
Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to mute this.
I can mute you if you like. There you go. I've muted you. Okay, I've muted you, Michelin, for the moment. So you're going to just say I, state your birth name, all of the middle names or any other names, place myself, and now you're going to state your current name that you use, Barbara Longuet, into a full Court of Atonement for the purpose of name recognition. And we're going to say it again. We can do this with adding on multiple words, but I'm just going to start it over again just so that you can hear it. And so this time, now that we've given your birth name, now you can just say your current name. And so now we're going to say I, Barbara Longuet, place myself, your name, your current name, Barbara Longuet, into a full Court of Atonement for the purpose of remembering and to clear and bless my energy. I ask for soul recognition. I ask to develop and maintain healthy boundaries. I ask for optimization of the energy encasements. I ask for heart center optimization. And I ask myself to remember to clear my energies often. And so it is. So that's the basic setup of clearing your energies just to get started. And those are actually shortcuts that we use. Amy Jo Ellis calls them speed calls that encompass a lot when we ask for soul recognition. And in particular, it's related to all of the souls that are associated with this current lifetime. And developing and maintaining healthy boundaries is very clearly something that we all struggle with, whether it's taking on someone else's energy or losing energy because we give too much, whether it's taking on negative energies from people around us or toxic environmental things around us. The optimization of energy encasements involves everything related to how you protect your energetic space all around you. And the heart center optimization is designed to help keep and protect your heart while still allowing you to open up and blossom with the amazing joy and love that is our entitlement as human beings. I truly believe this is why we are here. We are here to feel and experience the joy and infinite love that is on the universal plane. So it's asking to reconnect to all of that and to rebalance those energies on a soul level is particularly important. And these particular short sayings, this will all be part of the notes that you'll get at the end of this. These are all part of things that you could do literally every day just to make sure you're balanced, do the tapping, get to ground yourself and balance your polarity, make sure your energetic and electromagnetic energies are aligned, and then you're ready to get started. So one of the things that we do is we're going to bring in I'm going to ask you now if you have a piece of paper or a pen and you need to write down all of the birth names of your siblings and your parents. And we're going to bring them now into a full court of atonement. And this is again how, as I mentioned earlier, normally it's not recommended remotely to bring in someone else without their full permission. However, we are bringing in the soul, and the soul will choose what they decide to do or not do. So this is why it's okay to bring them into this court of atonement, which is a universal court, according to Abraham, designed by God or the universe or whatever you call that, that source of infinite energy and love that does its own reckoning. And this reckoning can be done before we all pass. This reckoning can be done right here, right now, on a soul level. Okay. So actually you can use, do you know how to use the chat button, Michelin? If you have any questions or anything, you can just type it into the chat. I don't know if you're familiar with that. All right. So there's, if you look on the bottom of the screen, on the Zoom call, it's got, mine has mute, stop video, security, participants, and then chat. You just hit that chat button and then you can type in a question or something if you need to.
I've just found the unmute button.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay, good.
Yep. So that's the
Now,
button.
okay.
And then further
well,
to the right is the chat button.
Oh, yes, found it. Yep.
So we use that if you need to ask any questions or
Sure.
while we're doing the course bit. So I've put you back on mute, sorry. And okay, so just nod your head when you have all of your siblings and parents' full birth names ready. We're going to bring them into this first because that is the and there are a lot of different aspects of how these family energies manifest, and we're going to deal with them on a number of layers and levels and understand that could be more. Okay, so if you're ready, you've got, do you have the full names of all of your siblings and your parents? Great. So we're going to start and place your right hand on your heart. And we start again using your current name, since we've aligned our name with our birth name. I, Barbara Longuet, place myself, Barbara Longuet, into a full court of atonement with, and I'm going to name all of my siblings. You don't need to hear that. So you name all of your siblings and all of your parents with their full name at birth, placing them into a full court of atonement, and then I will continue. Okay, you're all set? So I have a lot of siblings. It takes me a little bit longer. You may have more or less, may take you more or less time. So we place them into a full court of atonement for the purpose of reviewing and analyzing our timelines for resolving any conflicts back to their point of origin. And I want you to repeat that phrase. out loud. And I ask for amenable dissolution of this energy. Okay. Now we're going to add any spouses and children into the full court of atonement. So we're going to start again. We're going to say, I place myself into a full court of atonement with, now, again, any spouses or partners you had and any children or adopted children you have. Into a full court of atonement for the purpose of reviewing and analyzing our timelines and resolving any and all conflicts between us at their points of origin. I ask to resolve any and all reasons they have not forgiven and pardoned each other. I ask for amenable dissolution of this energy. And now we're going to go do that again. And this time we're going to add, you probably don't know all of your grandparents. We're gonna broaden it, simply saying a more generic term of grandparents and ancestors. We're going to add in lovers, mentors, and I think that's all we're going to do with this one. So we're going to start again. I place myself into a full court of atonement with my grandparents and ancestors, lovers, mentors, and I ask to analyze our timelines and resolve any and all conflicts between us at their points of origin. I ask us all to repent, redeem ourselves, and make amends. I ask to resolve any and all reasons they have not yet forgiven and pardoned each other. I ask for amenable dissolution of this energy. So if you think of in the history of peoples and nation peoples, there have always been conflicts and feuding between families and neighbors, and this helps to resolve those conflicts between immediate family members. I know my ex-husband's family, the siblings were always feuding. Someone was always on the out. They also had a large five siblings. There was always at least one or two that weren't speaking to everyone else. And they rotate who that person is on a regular basis. And this helps to resolve that. So, and again, it's resolving it back to its point of origin, because half the time people don't even remember why the feud started or how it started or why they're even continuing the feud. They just are holding a feud and holding a grudge for whatever reason they feel like they still need to hold it, like just in case I need to hold on to that anger. And this helps on a soul level to release that anger at its point of origin so that the souls can view the timeline and see it from a different perspective, can see it from why did that person do that? And then it can allow them and invite them to forgive and to move forward and to repent if they were the aggressor, or to forgive if they were the aggrieved person. So in both circumstances, on the soul level, it can resolve that. And I've seen many instances where this can take effect very quickly. And I've also seen where it doesn't take effect. You're like, well, I don't feel a shift. And that is because, again, the soul has, that we've invited in, has free will to say, nope, not going to do it. So just know that it can have a massively dramatic impact. And I've seen it with my own eyes in my own family. And I've seen it with many of my clients, and just having a massively dramatic effect, really long-standing anger and resentment that just gets dissolved. And because we don't actually need to carry that energy, like whatever happened, happened, and we don't need to hold on to it and keep feeling bad for whatever happened. So this helps resolve it once and for all if both parties are willing and ready. And how does that feel for you now, Michelin? If you want to type it in the chat. Okay, did you feel a shift when you invited all the family members? Let's see, and then you just hit the enter button once you've typed in. Okay, she says she feels happier and lighter. Yeah, it's you don't need to repeat this unless another issue comes up, because this can resolve things that you had no clue even were in there or were stuck in there in your consciousness or in your subconsciousness. And but again, the reason you don't need to repeat it unless you get the feeling that you need to repeat it, you get a call or a voice in your head that says, do that again, because it will resolve on its own. The universe, God, whoever, in this court of atonement, that on the soul level is doing the resolving. It's not you actually doing the resolving. You're calling them to come into God's court, if you will, of saying, what happened? Why do we, what are you ready to release that? And I've been incredibly surprised to see how much lighter interactions become between siblings, even if you didn't even know there was an issue, and it just makes everything better and helps your family come together in this current lifetime and to work as a family again. And it's, again, I've witnessed it for myself, and this is why I wanted to be able to share it with so many more people, how helpful that can be. Even, like I said, even if you didn't know there was a conflict, we all hold these things that, as tiny as they might be, that get stuck in our subconsciousness. And what I'd like to do now is to move this back up. We're going to go through a number of different circumstances. Let's see, there we go. And I think one of the reasons why it came up now is we just had Thanksgiving in the United States, and that is not just my favorite holiday, but it is a holiday that is all about family. And as the holiday season approaches with Christmas around the corner, it's a time often of great angst. Oh, so-and-so's coming, or the spouse, or whatever, the kids are crazy, or, it creates a lot of angst and stress of how do we come together. And this, I think, is a very timely moment to help resolve any issues that may be outstanding. So we want to relieve this back to its point of origin. Okay, so stay with me. We're going to add one more. You ready? So I state your name, Barbara Longue, place myself into a full court of atonement with the entirety of my family lineages for the purpose of analyzing our timelines and resolving any and all resentment, disappointment, or sadness connected to the holiday season. I ask to resolve the reasons for this energy at their points of origin. I ask for amenable dissolution of this energy. I'm going to keep going here with a few of these. Let's see. Because what's amazing is we don't always know what's going to trigger us. It could be even thinking about a special dish that we had when we were younger that our grandmother made. Or it could be about thinking about a gift that you got or you didn't get for the holidays. Or a gift that, the jealousy and anger and resentment that the sibling got something and you didn't get it. Not that we ever kept score as children, but for sure, when you come like I did from a family of 7, there was keeping score. Even though, no, it wasn't right, So I'm going to go back through now a number of phrases regarded to your family life that might not make any sense at the moment, but I can guarantee you that we're just bringing in everything related to remotely any issues regarding your youth and your family upbringing. So stick with me here on this one. Ready? I place myself, state your name, into a full court of atonement with the entirety of my family lineages. I ask to bring in any and all cars, vehicles we've ever owned, leased, borrowed, or had a relationship with. I ask for soul recognition for all. I ask that our timelines be analyzed and to correct any and all conflicts within ourselves or between us at their points of origin. I ask that we all make peace with the past. So you can see in there are a couple of points that are particularly important, and just notice how that feels for you. And I will continue with some of these phrases. And again, some of them you might think don't apply to you, and then you'll just go, oh, I get it. So hand back on the heart. I state your name, place myself, state your name, into a full court of atonement with the entirety of my family lineages. I ask to bring in any and all music instruments we've ever owned, leased, borrowed, or had a relationship with. I ask for soul recognition for all. I ask that our timelines be analyzed and to correct any and all conflicts within ourselves and or between us at their points of origin. I ask that we all make peace with the past. And continuing on, I state your name, place myself, state your name, into a full court of atonement with the entirety of my family lineages. I ask to bring in any and all electrical technology instruments like a phone, computer, a boombox we've ever owned, leased, borrowed, or had a relationship with. I ask for soul recognition for all. I ask that our timelines be analyzed and to correct any and all conflicts within ourselves or between us at their points of origin. I ask we all make peace with the past. And one more. I state your name, place myself into a full court of atonement with the entirety of my family lineages. I ask to bring in any and all dwellings, residences, buildings we've ever owned, leased, rented, stayed at, or had a relationship with. I ask for soul recognition for all. I ask that our timelines be analyzed and to correct any and all conflicts within ourselves and or between us at their points of origin. I ask we all make peace with the past. And this is where I'm going to bring in a bit of the instant miracle. I'm feeling a lot of the energies accumulating here. So I want you to take a giant breath in through the nose. And I want you to do a very hard exhale out through the mouth. Almost like the paw breath in Qigong. So one of the main advantages of this Court of Atonement is we're not asking you to fix this. We're asking you to let go of any attachment to this and allowing God, the universe, to fix this as best the individuals and the souls are willing to allow this to be fixed at this time. And in any case, I can tell you for sure, it will allow you to be more at peace with things that you didn't even know you had a conflict with. So, are you ready to continue? Right. So hand back on heart. So I place myself into a full court of atonement with the entirety of my family lineages. I ask to bring in any and all cities, villages, communities, towns where we've stayed at or had a relationship with. I ask for soul recognition for all. I ask that our timelines be analyzed and to correct any and all conflicts within ourselves and or between us at their points of origin. I ask we all make peace with the past. And continuing on, I state your name, place myself, state your name, into a full court of atonement with the entirety of my family lineages. I ask to bring in any and all provinces, states, countries where we've stayed at or had a relationship with. I ask for sole recognition for all. I ask that our timelines be analyzed and to correct any and all conflicts within ourselves and or between us at their points of origin. I ask that we make peace with the past. And one more. I place myself into a full court of atonement with the entirety of my family lineages. I ask to bring in any and all families, people with whom we have stayed or had a relationship with. I ask for sole recognition for all. I ask that our timelines be analyzed and to correct any and all conflicts within ourselves and or between us at their points of origin. I ask we all make peace with the past. And I don't want to forget all the important pets and other four-legged or two-legged or flying furry friends and feathered friends in our lives, and especially from our childhood. So I state your name, place myself, state your name, into a full court of atonement with the entirety of my family lineages. I ask to bring in any and all pets, animals, birds, reptiles with whom we've had a relationship with. I ask for sole recognition for all. I ask that our timelines be analyzed and to correct any and all conflicts within ourselves and or between us at their points of origin. I ask that we make peace with the past. And we're going to do some of the paw breath again. So ready? So giant inhale and a hard exhale. One more time. And I am going to unmute you. And I think we're going to stop the recording. Let's see, stop. I'm going to ask you to unmute. There you go. I'm going to stop the recording and we can have a chat, Michelin. How does that sound?
Okay.